Hi guys, my name is Hannah and welcome back to a game of Fangs and Thrones. Now today I'm going to be doing the Intimidating Tag TBR. No, the Intimidating TBR Tag. I don't know who the original creator is because unfortunately the original video has been marked as private, but I did get the idea for this tag from Emma over at Drinking by My Shelf, so I'll link her channel and the video she posted in the description below. But basically this is just what it says on the tin. It's questions about my TBR and what books I find intimidating, and yep, so I've already pulled them out, as you can see by the gap here. If I can reach, yep, there's a gap here, there's a gap here. So yep, I've already pulled them out because it will be a pain in the backside to try and find them while I'm filming. And yep, so let's get started. So the first question is, what book have you been unable to finish? And that is this one here. This is the Lord of the Rings Part 1, The Fellowship of the Ring, and technically there is another book that fits this prompt as well, but I no longer own it. It was on my Kindle and I got rid of it, and it is the only book I have categorically DNF'd, and that was The Miserables by Victor Hugo. Just too long, too boring. It got to a point where it completely went off track, so I DNF'd it, got rid of it. So technically it isn't really on my TBR anymore, but in a couple of years I might think differently and might want to actually finish it. I hate leaving things unfinished. But yeah, let's get back onto this one, which is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Every time I've read this book, I get to the similar point each time, and if you've read it, it's where they meet Tom Bombadil, a character who is actually, he is quite funny, and you know, he does have his moments, but he's not in the movie. But I get to that point every time, and you know, one day I'll finish it. And then the next couple of questions all start, what book have you yet to read because ... So the first question is, what book have you yet to read because you haven't had the time, and that is the Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna. Now this is either an early finished copy or a very, very pretty ARC or advanced reader copy that I received in a fairy loot box, and it's so shiny. But yeah, it's on my TBR for this month, but whether or not I actually get to it or not is another question, is another issue. But yeah, it sounds so good, and as soon as I've heard great things about it, and as soon as it came in the fairy loot box, I did immediately try to read it. Well, I say I tried to read it. I read the blurb in the first page and thought, right, this is something I want to continue with. So yep. Basically it's about a young girl who has to fight for survival. They have this ceremony where they do cut the girls, and if your blood runs red, you're human, you're pure. If it runs gold, like our main character, you are cast aside, you are a demon. You're thought to be a demon, and it just sounds so good, and why have I not found the time yet? The next one is because it's a sequel. Now with this one, it's The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young, and there is some confusion over this one. Some people say this is a companion book to her first one, which was The Sky and the Deep, and other people say it's a sequel. I'm erring on the side of it's a companion, but I do want to read The Sky and the Deep first, because Goodreads does say that's the first book and this is the second one. And I think it probably would be helpful because I do own Sky in the Deep, but it hasn't been hauled yet, so shh, sneaky peek. And that is a much bigger book, so I'm hoping that there'll be a lot more world building in that one that continues, that this one can build on and pick up from, so I'll be a lot less confused with some of the terminology. That's the theory anyway. The next one is because it's brand new. Now, other than the Other than the books I received, well, the books I've bought for this month but haven't hauled, this was the one I remember buying last month and getting well, I say buying, it came in a fairy loot box, and getting really excited over, and it is Star Daughter by Sveta Thakra. I'm never going to be able to say that right, and I do apologise. But basically, this follows Sheetal, who is half star. But on her 17th birthday, she injures her human father, and obviously, it's an injury that only a full star can heal, so she has no choice but to go to her family in the sky and get pulled into a competition. And obviously Sheetal has nothing to lose and everything to gain. She wants to save her dad, so she goes, yep, okay, sign me up. But this edition is absolutely stunning. Don't know if my phone is going to be able to pick up the glitter on this. But yeah, that's another one I haven't read just because it's brand new in this. Other, you can't see it, but there's a pile of my TBR just behind the phone. But the next one is, you read a book by the same author and didn't enjoy it. Now this book has been featured on my all my unread books video. And in that video, when it comes to this one, I do explain that Philippa Gregory is a bit of an auto-buy author for me. But there is a couple of books that I've read. I've read 4. 3 I enjoyed, 2 I enjoyed more. But there's 2 that... one of the 2 I didn't enjoy as much, and then the other one I just found was really boring and I couldn't get into it. But the 2 that I really enjoyed, I absolutely adored, so that's why she's a bit of an auto-buy author. So yep, you're just not in the mood for it. Now this could be anything that isn't fantasy or sci-fi, so contemporary thrillers, things like that. But I've had this book for a while, and that is Are We All Lemmings and Snowflakes by Holly Bourne. And again, I am a little bit intimidated by Holly Bourne because everybody I know, well, who reads from YouTube and everybody I know who reads, has said that Holly Bourne is really funny, and yeah, and they've loved everything she's written. So yep, and it's contemporary. I'm not really a contemporary reader, hoping to change that, so yep. Now, the next question is, because it's huge, and I have 2 books here, and I have took huge in a literal term and in a figurative term. Obviously, they are bricks. There are some bigger books that I do own. Again, if you've seen the all my unread books video, you'll know. But they were bought for a specific purpose that hasn't came about yet, so they're not included on the TBR, because the reason why I haven't read them yet is not because they're big, if that makes sense. Yeah, but we have these 2, and you can probably tell by the back and by the spines, and obviously the front colour, why they are both included in this, because they are both massive. We have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book of her new trilogy set in the Shadowhunter world, which is The Last Hours. Then we have Sarah J. Maas's House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City. Now, yeah, again, they are huge, and they are also big on BookTube, or they are at time of filming, so there is a little bit of intimidation there. Pretty much most of the books that I've either gotten in Fairy Loot or bought because of BookTube recommendations are sitting unread, because they are so hyped, and hyped books intimidate and scare me. I'm always scared to be that one person that goes, actually, I don't really like this. But yeah, then the next question was, it was a cover buy that turned out to have poor reviews. Now, I'll admit, I do cover buy. but I don't often look at reviews until after I've read it to see if I agree or disagree. Now, this one was The Orphanage of Gods by Helena Coggan. Now, I have heard mixed things. I know Jean over at Jean's Bookish Thoughts. She didn't really like it, and I do trust her opinion. But then I have heard other things that it is. Sorry, something just fell. But I have heard other things that it is okay. I mean, I haven't really. Like I say, I don't really go looking for reviews of books I want to read or am interested in. It's more a case of, oh, well, someone likes this, let's put that on the back burner. But yep, we have that one. And then I've already talked about it, but the last question is, what is the most intimidating book on your TBR? Well, there's more, but these are the only two I can pick up. Obviously, this one, because the Shadowhunter world is incredible and everybody seems to love it, and I don't want to be that one person that doesn't. But it is very much my cup of tea. You know, it's young adult fantasy. Now, this one is adult fantasy, and it is massive. And I am trying to get into adult fantasy, but I have heard that this book takes a while to get going and that the ending will destroy me. So that's fun. So yep, that's the books. That's all for this tag. So if you want to see more, or you think, or you agree or disagree, like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll have a chat in the comments. So what I want you to do is answer the questions below if you want. If you agree with what I've said, by all means agree and let me know. If you disagree with what I've said, again, no judgments here. We will take everything. We'll discuss everything, the good and the bad and the ugly. But yep, and let me know what the most intimidating book on your TBR is, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.